how
Yes.
often do you think, give me a percentage of how many complaints come in that are just total nonsense?
98%.
Really?
Yes, 98%. He called me the N word. You know what? During my traffic stop, he threw my driver's license. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of those, this is before the cameras. That's why whenever you hear cops say, oh, the cameras are bullshit, why? I wish when I came on in '89 that I had cameras.
Yeah.
It would have saved me a lot of trips
Yeah.
going to internal affairs because that camera, use of force
Mm-hmm.
that I would get or whatever that they investigated, that would have definitely, without a doubt, exonerated me.
Yeah.
You know, those cameras, I mean, after I left, the cameras came and I was, man, I could have cleared that case easily with a videotape.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say probably about 98% are either fabricated or there was a misunderstanding and I couldn't prove it. I mean, it was only the officer and the person, and if he did use, I mean, I can't sustain it. You know what I mean? So it's unsustained.
Yeah.
But I think that 98% they were trying to get out of a ticket. You know what I mean? But there is that 1%. There is, to me, that 2% were the officer. And you know what? And if I caught him, you know what? I'm not going to hide it. But everybody seems to think that internal affairs is after you. They're not. Now, in patrol or as a cop, you have that 2%, like I said earlier, that had their money taken. You know what I mean? Had their lunch money taken as kids.
Yeah.
And you have that 2% in internal affairs. We knew who those guys were.
The 2%, any sort of pattern that you could see of why they ended up turning out bad? I mean, here's the question. Do you think those 2% never should have been cops in the first place?
No, I'm talking about the 2% investigators. I'm talking about the guys in internal affairs that are the investigators. Now,
Okay.
instead of being a prick to the public,
Yes.
now who put them in internal affairs? We knew they were pricks to the public. And now they're in internal affairs.
Got it.
And these guys see another cop as they saw the public. They're full of hate. They're full of anger.
Got it.
So that's why we in internal affairs, we knew who they were. And we would tell them, he was the kind, there was two that I remember. And guess what? They were both short little guys, little pricks. You know, the little man complex. You know what I mean? I tell you, two that have come to mind. They were both under 5'6". Little white guys, little pricks. You know what I mean? Little Hitlers. You know what I mean? And we knew these guys when we'd all sit in a table and we'd go around the case, and he couldn't sustain the allegation. So guess what? Conduct and becoming. They would always find, and they would dig. They should have never been in internal affairs, just like they should have never been cops. It's these little pricks that got people hurt as a cop.
Yeah.
These little pricks are the ones that got people shot as cops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but now they've promoted, I don't know how, but they did, and now they're internal affairs. So whenever I would hear one of my friends, for example, would say, hey, I got so-and-so, oh no. I mean, I would just say, you know what, get a good attorney or get a good POA. And the lieutenants would know who these guys were. You know, they should have never been in internal affairs. And I'm hoping that somebody's watching the show today. If you're an active cop and you know that they're there, hopefully a chief of police is going to remove those little pricks out of internal affairs, because there's always one or two. Or maybe you don't. You're lucky if you don't.
Yeah.
But there's always that little guy that had his money taken. They're always little.
What?
No disrespect, but these two, I got them here.
What about this? Okay, I understand the 2%, but what about the legitimate investigations that you were doing in IA with cops that were doing things bad? When those things happen, did you ever establish any sort of pattern of, like, maybe the guys should never have been cops, but what was it that kind of made him go bad, if you know?
You know what? Divorce.
Really?
When I was working in narcotics, I mean, we were, at my last year and a half, I mean, we were getting seizures of $600,000. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, as a narcotics team, we were, we were hitting it big. And the minute that I would see one of my cops going through a divorce, I would either sit down with them and I tell them, hey, I'm going to keep my eye on you, because I know I went through a divorce. I know exactly what you're going through. You need extra cash and you're never thought about stealing. you've never thought about, I need this. You know what I mean? You never justified. That's why it's very important for sergeants that are working narcotics, sergeants that are working specialized units, to know their people, to know them, because you know what? A person that is in need will do drastic things. I don't care if he's the best cop in the world, but divorce, I would always look at them. And I would always, believe it or not, look at also if they were cheaters, they were cheating on their wife.
Yeah.
I'm not judging them because I was there.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, to sustain a certain livelihood, you need extra cash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you as a cop, you need to be very careful, because you could justify. You could literally in your mind justify stealing from a cartel guy or from a drug deal, thinking, hey, it's not his money. And you know what? I need to pay this off. You know what I mean? So as a supervisor, I mean, that's why I'm telling you that 2%, remember I told you, will probably say, Contreras moved me. Well, yes, I did. And I probably saved your job.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You learn these things. Because I went through it. I never stole anything, but I know what it's like. I saw people that I work with become that. So I learned from that. And you look at all these guys like Ruben Palomares, great guy, but it was after he wasn't. I mean, if you Ruben Palomares, he's a LAPD cop, did 17 years. The movie Training Day was based on his life story. But when I've talked to him, it always starts with, I needed extra money. He didn't start being dirty. He didn't come in. He came in with the sheep heart. The sheepdog attitude, but it was circumstances. So you as a supervisor, me as a supervisor, I'm telling you, I was always looking for that. And I will tell any sergeant, don't become best friends with the people you're with, because there's going to come a time you're going to have to discipline them, and they're going to understand, and watch them. Look at their personal life. That's what I saw, that patterns of behavior.